we might as well already be there as far as this Jalen and Tua discussion, because it's been an ongoing discussion for, over a year now, probably ever since really Tua stepped on campus. And, well, let's just say, Martin, not only have you gotten in the discussion, Ryan Fowler, and everybody on this station for that matter, but Justin Nails has a pretty fascinating little piece in gridironnow.com as far as 5 things I'm most sure about when it comes to Alabama football in 2018. And you know what? We might as well get right into his angle on Jalen and Tua. And one of his 3 points in this article, Martin, Tua Tagovailoa will be the day 1 starter. Not really anything earth-shattering on that particular little point. But when you get into his reasoning, though, it takes a little different twist on that as far as what Tua did against Georgia. And this is where I want you to deal or no deal this particular paragraph. I can't remember the last time we've seen a 2-year starter get benched because of his play in the national championship and come back the next year to take over again. Alabama has moved on from Hurts as the starter, and though they may not say it, we all know it. Deal or no deal that particular paragraph?
Well, first of all, he's never seen that because there's probably never been a guy who started in a national championship game coming back. And so as a whole, how often has that happened where they lost the game and there was a guy who came in and won the game? So first of all, we're dealing with a unique situation and circumstance. The reason I say no deal, James, is this. The one thing that everybody needs to remember is, yes, if you're looking at passing and quarterback and upside from the quarterback position, you're going to give that to Tua. Most likely, if he grows and matures from what you saw last year and what he did in the Georgia game and what he did in backup duty, you would say, yes, this kid's going to be, really, really special. But the thing that everyone seems to be forgetting is Tua has not been healthy enough to play quarterback. So Nick Saban is not stupid. He might ultimately want Tua to win the job because of what Tua brings to the table. But he has not thrown on and moved past Jalen Hurts, because if Tua comes back and hits that hand again and that hand is injured, he wants to have Jalen Hurts engaged and connected, okay? And so I would say that Tua being the first day 1 starter, that's not out of the question. Nick Saban having already moved on regardless beyond Jalen Hurts, no deal.
Regardless of whether you or I, let's say, are the quarterback, let's just say one big piece of the puzzle from last year, Calvin Ridley, is gone in the wide receiving core. But we saw even that national championship game, especially Devontae Smith and Henry Ruggs, make some really, really big plays in the receiving core. So this is another one of Justin Nails' 5 points that he makes in his article up on gridironnow.com. So deal or no deal, the wide receiving core will be better with Calvin Ridley gone.
Yes, even if Jalen is the quarterback, regardless of who the quarterback is, I think the wide receiver core, corporation of all the wide receivers there together will be better than last year for 2 reasons. One is they're going to be older and more mature. Regardless if Calvin was back this year, this group would be better. The other reason is that, like it, love it, or hate it, wide receivers are prima donnas, James. And quarterbacks, you have a primary guy, and Jalen locked on receivers naturally anyway. But I think the response and the reactions of Calvin made him want to get the ball to Calvin even more. And so he doesn't have that pull from an older guy, more mature guy, showing him up, number one, and number two, pulling for a receiver to come in terms of, throw the ball to me, or I'm going to react. He doesn't have that. So he'll be more likely to look at other guys. And then the other part, and Kevin Smith, before I got to it, has put in it, says watch out for Waddle to have a breakout year. Waddle, the new freshman guy who I think could have a huge impact on the Tide this year from the receiver core because they're going to make plays for him. They're going to make plays to get the ball to him, unlike they have done with some of the other receivers. So I think this core deal definitely will be better.
So also, we've been talking linebackers for the last 2 weeks as well. And once again, let's just say Justin Nails has been a gold mine for me in this segment. Another point that he makes in here as far as some pass rushing ability on this defense for this year, as far as Alabama's passes at, you haven't had a whole lot of individuals that have had double-digit sacks in a year. But one of his, Justin Nails' 5 things that he's sure about, deal or no deal, the defense will have not one, but 2 double-digit sack players this year.
I would say deal. I think that not only they're going to have double-digit sacks, I think that you're going to see a even more aggressive style of pass rush from Alabama, but you're not going to have to involve the DBs as much, if that makes sense. So the pressure is going to be coming from the actual front 7 a little bit more this year. I had 2 bold predictions for this year. I believe that the offense will be record-setting, James, in total yards and production, and I believe that the defense will be record-setting in number of sacks as well. And I believe in order for that to happen, you're going to have a couple of guys to have double-digit sacks. So I would say deal in that case.
So we'll get to the final couple of points here, but this will be the last deal or no deal because his second number 2, as far as things he's most certain about, is Damian Harris having north of 1,000 yards for a 3rd consecutive season. But this will be the final deal or no deal and his most certain thing for Alabama football for this year, at least that he's most certain about. The Tide will be undefeated during the regular season. Deal or no deal?
I'm actually predicting this is going to be the first 15-0 season ever because, James, we've been 13-1 and 14-1 and 14-1 under Jalen. Okay? I mean, that's where we've been under Jalen. So if Tua's better than Jalen, he has to be 1 win better. And if Tua doesn't win the job, that means Jalen is better. Okay? So if Jalen's better and good enough to beat Tua out, or if Tua is better than what Jalen's been the last 2 years, you have to say deal that Alabama's going to go undefeated in the regular season. So, I'm saying they're going to run a 15-0, become the first 15-0 team, regardless of which one of those guys is the quarterback, because Jalen has to be better to win the job. And Tua, if he's better than what Jalen's been, that's the only reason you make the change, right? You don't make the change just to score more points in an individual game. You change the quarterback to win more games. Well, Alabama only needs to win 1 more game than they've been winning the last couple of years. So deal without a doubt. That wraps up this edition of Deal No Deal. Remember, you can always participate in Deal No Deal. You can call in with a question, 205-342-9904, the Taco Casa hotline. Or if you tune in on Facebook Live, you can post a question there as well.